Hello everyone and welcome to our latest video. This is another driving test route that one of our customers did recently. So we're going to talk you through some key points. We have speeded up some sections just to make sure that we're not keeping you too long. Please watch till the end. Don't forget to like and follow so we can help you out with any requests you've got. Also, we've got an email at the top right. If there's anything you want us to do in a video on, please let us know. So we've come to the end of the test route, and if you've seen any of our other videos, you'll notice we keep our wheels straight all the way to the end. Make sure you do have a good look left and right, and off we go to the traffic lights. So at the traffic lights, you'll notice we're using the left-hand lane to go straight on. Normally drive on the left-hand side, so keep into that left-hand side. So off we go now, moving away at the traffic lights. So turning left onto the A38 going towards, it'll be signposted Derby M1. And we're going to continue up this road for a little bit of time. So we will speed the video up because it's a little bit, nothing's going on really. Be aware down here it's a 50-mile-an-hour zone going back into a 30 zone to the traffic lights. And again, we're using the left-hand lane because we drive on the left, not much point being in the other one. Always be aware of your cyclists and pedestrians and such as well. Here as well, remember the two lanes are merging, so ensure you are checking your mirrors to the right hand side, centre, right mirror. Ensure that you know what's going on behind us. We're going to give a full talk through. So it's currently A38. Again, we're just going to speed it up a little bit because not too much is going on. We can continue. So at the traffic lights, we're going to turn left. You've got a little slip road. Now here, you're not actually controlled by the traffic lights. You've got to give way at the end of this road. So always make sure you're looking right on approach. Make sure it's safe, and there's no need to stop as long as it's safe to go. Okay. So down this road, again, we've turned onto a faster road, so we're going to speed it up, pretty straight, not too much going on again. And as we approach this, we're coming back into I think it's a 40 zone. We're coming back into a 40 zone. And approaching, always be aware of these cars on the left in case they see that they can maybe nip out in front of the learner because there's nothing coming the other way. And at the traffic lights, again, we're going to try and use the left-hand lane unless we've got a real reason to be in the right-hand lane. So, we're going to use the left. And as ever, whenever we're turning, we're going to turn right at these traffic lights. And whenever you are turning right in a set of traffic lights, you're using the left-hand lane. Ensure, as we did there, you keep all the way to the left. So we have speeded it up a little bit around here. There's a mini roundabout coming up, so we've slowed it down so you can have a look at that. Again, ensuring you're checking around, making sure that you're safe from both directions here. There's an industrial estate on the left, and larger vehicles do have a habit of not being able to stop coming down the hill if they misjudge it. So just be aware that there's that possibility there as well. So as we're driving down the road, again, we're probably going to speed this up in a second or two. But we've got a bit of a speed change back into a 30 zone. It's going down the road. And there's a mini roundabout a little bit further up the road. So as ever, on approach to these junctions, we're going to make sure we take our time. If you notice the driver of the vehicle here, they're staying quite a long way back from the HGV, mainly because you can't see around it, so they want to get plenty of notice if they're going to do something. So turning right at the roundabout, all the way down. Just be careful. Again, make sure you do this. Be careful. Don't try and steer left. Keep it straight, as you can see there, because other cars are on your left. Round the corner, and away we go. So we're heading back into a more residential area. We've got things going on ahead of us, pedestrians and turning cars, things like that. So just keep an eye on all those things as you're driving along. Over the brow of the hill, remember, because you don't know what's over the brow of the hill, make sure it's easing off. We speeded it up a little bit because there's not too much going on until we get to the next bit. So here we slow it down again. We've got some parked cars on the right hand side. So as ever, just checking your mirrors, remembering that the obstruction is on the opposite side, so they should give way to you. However, never assume they will. Always be prepared to concede that priority, if you want to call it that, just to keep yourself safe. So as we're approaching here, we have a vehicle on our side of the road, so we're making sure that we're getting out early so we're not getting close to it, but also that we can see what's coming towards. Again, we're going to slow down here just to ensure that car clears the path, and then we've got a nice path. Notice how early the driver's coming out around these parked cars. So same down here, just taking our time, because we've got cars both sides. We don't want to go too quickly. We're not talking about driving at 10 miles an hour. This car's probably doing about 25 miles an hour at the moment. But only do speed you're comfortable with for every situation. It could be different. So in the corner here, the corner goes around to the left. It's quite sharp, so I would slow down. If you notice, we slow quite down. You've got to keep yourself into the left. And then there's always parked cars on the left-hand side. There's a few commercial units here on the left that the parked cars there, and they're dealing with customers' cars and stuff. So at the end of the road, it's actually quite a nice open junction, this one, but we do have to slow obviously all the way down to make sure you can see both ways. So at the end, we're going to turn left, and as we go up the hill towards Kirby in Ashfield. Turning right, we've got our own little slip road, giving way to oncoming traffic still. It's quite a tight corner actually, this one. It's a little bit deceiving how it doesn't look very tight, but it is quite tight as you turn in. Just again, ensure there's parked cars both sides. Ensure you're checking nothing's coming through there before you do, because if they're there first, you're going to have to wait for them. So down the road, there's a good chance that the examiner may have done a manoeuvre down this road, potentially a parallel park or a pull up on the right hand side and reverse back. But I probably think it probably would have done a parallel park if they'd have done a manoeuvre here. They often do them on this road. As you can see, we've got one. So as we're approaching, we're gonna go round this learner purely two reasons, because we're not on test then, and we don't want to increase their anxiety, so we're going to get out of their way so they're not having to wait for us. And see here, this other learner, popular road, is waiting for us to come through the gap, and then we can continue. Same thing, out early around the parked cars, not going too fast. I see the video is deceptive. It looks deceptively quick, but we are going quite slowly here. So we're going all the way to the end of the road. I'm going to turn left back towards the main road. When we have turned left, we're going to be introduced to an unmarked crossroads. So as we come past this next car, you're going to see it either side. Driver's going to just slow down a little bit, just check, and then continue. Because there's no road markings, we can't assume people are going to give way at the end. So we make sure no one's there. So coming to the end of the road, we're going to turn left here. Careful not to get too close to the curb coming out of this road, because it's a little bit tight, and there's a bollard on the corner which will cause you some unpleasantness on your vehicle if you touch that bollard. You won't like that. So we're driving up. This is Victoria Road in Kirkby. Again, we have a pedestrian crossing, so we're checking both sides, ensuring no one's there on the approach, and then we can move on and continue our drive. So here we've got, again, the brow of the hill. Don't know 100% what's down there, so as you're approaching, just ease off the accelerator to ensure your safety. And also so that if there is something there, you're not having to brake really hard to avoid it. So driving up the road, got a little bit of traffic here. These are temporary traffic lights. They've gone now as of this date, as of today. They're not there, but they could be there, and it deal with traffic lights. So we're making sure the driver here, making sure we're leaving the businesses entrance is clear. See, there's pause there to make sure they could clear that junction and any big roads such as there. When we get to the lights, when we do stop here, again, we would have left the school entrance open, but leaving a good gap between us and the vehicle in front, just to ensure that we don't cause them any problems, or if they're not as good as we might think they are, they're not rolling back towards us to cause us a problem. So driving up to, they call this Kirkby Cross, and there's a mini roundabout there. So the mini roundabout, we're going to slow down as normal, nice and early, again leaving plenty of gap between us and the vehicle in front. And we're going to turn left at the mini roundabout. So this is going towards St Wilfrid's Church in Kirkby and Ashfield. Down, I think it's called Church Hill. There's some shops here on the right. They do have parked cars around them often. So again, just be aware they're coming towards some parked cars maybe. And when you go around the bend, if you look, you can see a black and white arrow sign there, right in front of us. That's telling you there's a bend that's worth knowing about. So just ease off, take your time. We have speeded this up a little bit. And going down the hill, I'd always recommend sort of come away from the accelerator, cover the brake. It's much easier to keep you at 30 miles an hour than it is to try and get back from 32. So we're just slowing down a little bit more. Again, these black and white signs, seems to be more of them there. It's a bit more of a corner. So where there's more, potentially you might want to slow it down a little earlier. Park cars again out nice and early, checking there's nothing coming towards us that's going to cause us a problem. You notice we're slowing right down. We're turning left, next road on the left. It's very tight, so it's slow all the way down. Make sure you've got your clutch back up and turning, keeping really tight to our left-hand side. There's always parked cars here, so always just be aware of them and don't try and zoom down there. Just take your time. The road bends around to the right, not that well signed, but it is marked on the road. If you see the road markers, just go around to the right there, and we're coming into a national speed limit road. Now, the examiner isn't expecting you to do 60 miles an hour on this road, but what they will want you to do is when you've got, when it's appropriate that you can make some progress, they would like to see you make some progress. So if it's a nice straight road, nothing happening, then get on with it a little bit. Don't drive at 30 still. If it's safe, let's go a little bit. These bridges, probably only wide enough for one car at a time. But they are only wide enough for one car at a time. So take your time on approach to make sure no one's coming through. There's another bridge. There is another bridge around this next bend to the left. So as to give way sign just a second ago, that's for the bridge. Because we're coming up the hill, the road markings will say we give way. So if you slow all the way down, you'll be able to see that we're giving way here. But they weren't there, and we're okay. So we'll come over here. Again, just be careful. Other cars maybe come a little bit too quickly. So whilst we're maintaining a good speed, we want to try and be aware that there could be a car coming the opposite direction. So we've just speeded it up a little bit again, and then we're slowing it right down now. Okay, so we'll come to the end of another road. Before we get there, we're going back into a 30 zone, and there's parked cars on the right-hand side. Now these cars, again, they live in the houses here. They're generally always there. This is Mill Lane in Kirkby and Ashfield, if you wanted a reference. So at the end of the road, going to slow all the way down. It's quite a wide open junction, nice and slow though, and we're going to turn left at the end. These are often you can keep going, but it's quite a hill. The video doesn't do it justice, but it is quite steep there. So you probably will want first gear most of the time coming out of there, unless you can keep your speed up to sort of double figures. So we're now driving through where they call Nunker Gate, which is coming into it now. And there's often parked cars left and right. It's a residential area, so often parked cars left and right hand side. So always be aware of those cars. So we've got cars here on the left. So again, just check in, make sure it's safe to go. And continuing down the road. So, and then up this road here on the right hand side, there's an array of shops. So again, it is sometimes a little bit busier than it is today with more parked cars. But again, just easing off the accelerator, taking your time if you do see them and giving yourself time to move out early and stay away from the other vehicles to ensure you're safe. And also so, the examiner gets a nice smooth day. I see the driver just waiting for the pedestrian just to move out of the way. We don't want to get close to a pedestrian. If they stood next to a car, they may want to open a door or they might step back. So we're just seeing what they're doing to keep them safe. Here again, it's always parked cars left and right. So just be aware of where we're positioning and also of any oncoming vehicles that we might need to deal with. So again, I'm just speeding up a little bit. And at the end of the road, we're going to turn right. So we're going to turn right up this hill. Now this hill, a lot of people don't like. It's called the Shoulder of Mutton Hill in Kirkby and Ashfield. It's not as steep as people make out, but it is a serious hill. So we'll just take your time up the hill. Don't try and go really quickly, and try and keep moving where you can. So we turn left. It's still a 30 road, so be careful down here. And as you can see, we've got a speed sign coming up that's going to turn it into a 50 zone for us. So now again, because it's reasonably appropriate, we're going to put our foot down a little bit and go. We've speeded this video up a little bit. Maintaining the gap between us and the vehicle in front, more so because it's a little bit wet. So as we're reducing, the driver ensured they didn't get too close to that car in front. And if you notice, a good gap between us as well, so there's some room for error. The driver did get caught in a little bit of traffic coming down here, so we will speed it up to get you through it. So we don't, rest assured the driver isn't driving erratically and fast. We speeded the video up to get it through because there's not much going on. But all the time we've got various signs that are telling us where to go, like warning triangles, things like that, and to keep an eye on all those sort of things. I say this is a 50 road, so if it is safe, we want to show the examiner you're keen and you can get on with it if it's safe to do so. So there's a set of traffic lights not far off. We're going to a 40 zone here. Remember, the 40 zone starts at the sign, not after it. So ensure you're doing 40 just before you get there to make sure it's minimum 40, the maximum 40 just before you get there. I'm going through the traffic lights, normal procedure. Again, we still a little bit of traffic down here, straight road, back into a 50 zone now. So we're going to speed it up again a little bit, I think. Here we go. There's another set of traffic lights ahead. We're going to turn left at these traffic lights. We're now back on the way back towards the test centre now. Just a note here, you can't turn right at these traffic lights, so please don't try. We turn left. And then we're in a national speed limit zone. So, now you can get on with it a little bit. Be careful on about halfway up the hill. There's a golf course on the right hand side. So there could well be cars, if you have got cars in front of you, that are going to turn into that, but also watch out for vehicles that might not spot you because we're going up the hill and slightly hidden. they may pull out on you. So again, just be aware of what's going on around you as you're approaching that junction. Going back, and now change that back into a 40 zone, and there's a golf course entrance. So along this road, don't be tempted. It is quite tempting to go quickly because it used to be a faster road, but the houses have brought the speed down, a few accidents and such. So make sure you're adhering to the speed sign. And again, now we're out of the residentially bit, we're going to go back into a national speed limit zone. This sign here on your left is going to tell you there's potential for queues around the bend. So be aware, know what's behind you, and take your time. And then as you're going down here, there's a warning sign on the left. On the right, sorry, for the traffic lights that are ahead of us. Remember here, you're braking against the hill as well. So be careful. There is a hill. You probably can't see it as well on the video, but there is a hill. So just be careful that we're not, you're not leaving your braking too late and then you've got to brake really hard. So as we go down towards, continue down the road, we're going down towards another mini roundabout. And that mini roundabout, again, really nice and steady. We're going to go straight ahead. Make sure your lane's nice and early. Checking you're safe and then proceed. Remember, giving way to the right only when we're going down a roundabout, to a roundabout rather. Always check the other way, but only giving way one way. Level crossing, again, mirrors. Make sure we know those lights are on. Take your time. They're always a bit bumpy, these. I've never met a level crossing. So just take your time over that. Otherwise it'll throw you about a little bit. We're going to come down towards a test centre now. We're going to turn, it's on the left hand side. It's just after the next big blue sign on the left. You can see it here. So really, really slow. Make sure as you're approaching it, really slow and in that junction nicely. Keeping to the left hand side. Take your time up the road. Just remembering that your test doesn't finish till the examiner says that's the end of your test. Okay, so I hope that was okay. If there's anything anyone wants to see on these videos, please let us know. If you want to talk less and just put the video on, please let us know. Like and subscribe, and then we can get the videos out to you and help you pass that driving test at Ashfield. Good luck, and like I say, don't forget to like and subscribe, but thank you very much for watching until the end. Take care.